What's up, Fam Bam guys? We're just about to get started here. Hopefully everybody has a great week so far. And we are live. If you're unfamiliar with who I am, I'm Chris Mizo. We talk about PC and tech. I'm sure you've been following everything that has been going on in the industry. If you haven't already, especially if you're looking for some of the great Black Friday day sales, make sure to check out those videos in my page. I tried to find the best deals as possible. Unfortunately, not everything has the best deals for this upcoming holiday season. Now, we finally hit 10,000 subscribers on my page with the Fam Bam. If it wasn't for the Fam Bam, this all wouldn't have been possible. Thanks to everybody out there for really being part of this wonderful Fam Bam. If you aren't part of the Fam Bam already, make sure to join in on the Discord. It's completely free, and you can feel free to talk about anything you would like when it comes to PC and tech, or you can feel to ask any questions. If you're worried about this whole RAM shortage, you could also feel free to ask about it. There's other concerns that could be going on when it comes down to this whole RAM issue. Not only could it affect just the RAM side, obviously it could also affect the GPU side and even the SSD side. You might ask exactly why. The reason being is because everything contains some sort of RAM. And already we're seeing some sort of trickle down effect. If you haven't heard already, Cyber Power PCs, a big pre-built manufacturer, especially if you've heard of Cyber Power, they're usually pre-built PCs that are inside of like Best Buys, Micro Centers will have them. And those PCs are set to raise in prices due to the DDR5 issues. Now, ironically, there is going to be some temporary fixes, so to say, for those gamers out there who are looking to build a PC. The best thing that I could possibly find for everybody out there was Crucial's DDR5 deals. With their DDR5 deals, they do have a CL32 for at least around the $300 range. Corsair, they're just out of control. I mean, let me just show you exactly how bad it is. We'll go check out Corsair's webpage, and from there, this is how you know it's not just any type of retailer, it's not just Micro Center, it's not just anybody, it's nothing just like that. In fact, I'll show you because it's just insane about how much they are currently charging just for a set of 64 gigabyte memory. Now, if you're trying to go even further up the ladder, you're trying to go 96, you might as well just buy a GPU, to be honest, because that's a much more worthwhile upgrade on that side. What's up, Kyrian? The one full screen, oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know the mic is a bit quiet here. I'll turn that up. Thank you. Let me see. Oh, okay. I see what is going on here, guys. And let me set that up. Thanks, Kyrian. There we go. Hopefully that's better. In Canada, what's the best place to get RAM because of the recent prices? Honestly, look anything else other than Corsair. There's a reason why everybody is saying F Corsair, because they're the ones that are kind of giving these like really insane prices, regardless if it's a RGB stick or if it's a non-RGB stick. You're going to be paying top dollar. When we went to live stream at Micro Center this past weekend, if you were part of it, it's just insane. There's not really any best Corsair RAM out there. Same thing even when you take a look at Kingston, even Patriot, they're even a bit expensive. The best type of RAM to look for right now is going to be Crucial. Crucial just came out with this new kit. It's not too bad, honestly, especially with the volatility that we currently have with RAM right now. And it's around 6400 megahertz plus it's CL32. It's priced at around $319. Now, honestly, it's not bad for what it is now. Of course, before, back in September of 2025, for $212, you could get 64 gigabytes, but unfortunately, that's no longer the case now. So with DDR5, 5600, 10 to 13 nanoseconds, CL36 to 40. Yeah, that's definitely and the thing is, the whole latency has been way overblown too. Like for anybody that is looking for something as low as CL26, unfortunately that's going to be a bit unrealistic. Now, if you get something like Crucial's RAM that I mentioned, again, I'm not sponsored or anything by Crucial, but this is certainly the best RAM that I could find for the best deal. Actually, I have it posted on my latest video of the best deals that are out there for Black Friday, and that is one of them, one of the only few RAM sticks that I could really find for a good deal. Them and G-Skill does have a decent set, but it is for G-Skill's set, it's for CL36. Now for CL36, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Reason being is because as long as if you get the transfer speeds that you need out of it, you can even actually clock it to your settings. For example, you could actually drop it down from CL36 down to CL34 in a lot of cases. So you could actually drop it just a couple in latency with a lot of these RAM kits. So don't think you'll just be stuck at that specific number. Now, when it comes to RAM kits, I can tell you that the numbers that are set in place are pretty much put there by the manufacturer. It's the most easiest and most tuned settings for most overall systems. So that's why when you see AMD Expo or you see XMP, it's going to bode well with that system. Now, of course, there's tuning profiles. For example, on Asus's profiles, you'll see something as tweaked, or you'll see something like on the fly. There's different settings you can honestly mess with, and you can manually adjust the settings. What's up, Genomorph? What do I think of the RAM? Personally, I think this whole RAM shortage is not going to end anytime soon. I hate to say it and let you guys know, because as I warned everybody here, as everyone who follows this channel knows, that for the past 4 weeks, I've been warning everybody about not just the RAM side, but also be mindful about GPUs. If you don't have a GPU already, I would certainly look into getting one if you really actually need one, especially for those who are experiencing any type of artifacting or any type of hardware issues. Just this past weekend, I had to make the leap, go ahead and purchase a GPU, because I knew my RTX 3080 Ti was starting to fail. Reason being, the GPU that I was using was specifically for productivity type of work. So usually when I was encoding or when I was working with Premiere, it would seem to act a bit glitchy and even end up, it would end up rebooting the PC. And then even in one instance, the day right before I went to Micro Center, I was just working on Photoshop. And after working on Photoshop, PC rebooted right back. Just on a simple task such as that. So I knew that it was at its limit, and I got to get a GPU, especially before these price increases, because you're going to experience it, especially in 2026. AMD has already talked about going up 10%. You already have Cyber PC going to up their prices up as high as around 20% for their PCs, and more than likely it could go even higher. Stranger Things season 5, yeah, I'm hyped for it, but the thing is, I like to wait for all the seasons to be put together, all the episodes, because I can't just watch 3 episodes and then wait until the next month to see it. I prefer to just binge watch it. I know that's probably not healthy, but yeah, I'm definitely on that. Once there is no more RAM, maybe. What's up, Reeve? Thought I say hello before a good night's sleep. Can't wait for the Saturday light. Yeah, so just for anybody, what happened to my... you know what? Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out, Kirian. Just to let you guys know, if you don't know, or you don't know who I am, I'm Chris Mizo. I talk about PC and tech. This is an open chat, so you can feel free to ask anything. This is going to be a hot topic based on RAM, because everyone right now knows that the RAM shortage is very real. In fact, I even showed clips of me going into Micro Center showing the pricing, especially from Corsair RAM, how expensive it could really be. In fact, there was somebody that went to go to Micro Center, saw a fair price on the RAM. It was about $249 for it, but when they went to go pick it off the shelf. This is how volatile it is right now. They picked it off the shelf. They went to go purchase it. It was priced at around $309 or $319, and Micro Center wouldn't let him buy it for that price. In fact, he had to go over back to where he went to go purchase the RAM, took a picture of the price tag, showed it to the associate, and then eventually they were willing to let it go for $250. But that's just how volatile the whole RAM kits are right now. So how was the NVIDIA stock at Micro Center? The NVIDIA stock was actually pretty decent. We ended up purchasing the last RTX 5080 Asus Noctua collab. So there's going to be a video based on that, on the whole unboxing. Hopefully you checked out that stream. We actually did that repair live on stream. We ended up putting some new thermal paste. It was going into a Threadripper build because the thermal paste that was in the original Threadripper build was there for like probably a good 4 or 5 years. We cleaned it off, ended up putting some new thermal paste. We installed the new RTX 5080 plus a new power supply just in case, because I don't like using the harnesses, and that's another big issue that has been going on. That's something we will discuss momentarily. So I currently have the Ryzen 5 3600. I've been upgrading to a new GPU, so I'm thinking about the Ryzen 7 5800 XT since it's at a lower price. If it's at a lower price, sure, why not? It's a good deal. I'm assuming you're going to be using it for gaming. 5000 series Ryzen 5000 series processors are still great, so they will perform exactly the task that you're looking for, especially if you're looking to up the power on your PC. Now, what type of motherboard do you have, by the way? So Kirian says the 9800X3D and the 9070 XT and the 750 watt PSU, is that stable on default? Now 750 is decent. I would usually recommend something at least 850 watts, just in case if you want to upgrade your fans, if you want to upgrade any extra accessories to your PC. But 750 is like your bare minimum, but it should be technically stable, because at least because you're gonna require a bit of power for it. So Chris, you have 2 live streams on YouTube right now. One of them isn't working. Chat doesn't show. Oh, really? Number one, can you get 64 gigabytes of Royal Neo for the same price for 32 gigabytes? Yes, you can. If you're lucky enough to be able to purchase it, it seems that the Royal Neo is not that far off from the whole RGB pricing. So anybody that is looking for it, it's not that far from the Z5. So if you are lucky enough to be able to grab it before people end up buying it up, because that's what's happening. It's more of a panic buy. You have everybody that's having FOMO right now, just purchasing as much RAM as they can get in order to be able to enjoy gaming, so to say. But people are purchasing RAM at a record level right now because people are afraid that they're not going to get new RAM, especially in the next year. And the pricing is only just started to go up. So it's going to be a bit crazy on that side. So just got myself a 5090 Astra LC and the 9950X3D. Is the Ryzen 7, let me go back to Zara real quick. Is the Ryzen 7 9700X and Ace ROG 9? Yes, excellent combo. Let me know what type of monitor that you're gaming on. Would love to know. Just got myself a 5090 Astra LC and the 9950X3D with the Aorus Master X870E. Would that be good? Yeah, it's more than good. That's a great combo. That's a combo that everybody would love. A 5090 Astral with the Aorus Master X870E. Hell yeah, that's a great combo. What are your goals on this type of PC build? I gotta ask. I would love to know. Of course, there's no wrong answers. Just curious. Fireblade, what's up? It's ridiculous. That's the unfortunately thing. It's the reality of things right now, that RAM is going to be very expensive, especially into the holiday season. If you're looking to build a PC, again, I highly recommend going Crucial. You're not going to experience any real difference, especially you're getting 6400 megahertz at CL32. And just to let you know, anybody that does have AMD boards, you are also capable of going XMP if you would like to. You can use a XMP profile and it will work exactly fine. It's not that different from Expo. Expo is obviously more preferred because that's for AMD system. XMP is more of Intel system, but it can be used on AMD. Now the 9800 X3D with a 650 Wi-Fi paired with 9070 XT, 32 gigabytes, 750 watts, bronze. What changes do I need to make? Got an offer for around 1800 euros for this build. Oh, that's actually not bad. I gotta know, like, how much is the RAM that you're currently purchasing for? Just out of curiosity, because that is what's really throwing everything off. Luckily, GPUs are actually at record low levels. So if you're looking to purchase a GPU, it's actually a really good time now before this whole inflation really starts pushing these GPU pricing up. And again, if you're asking why GPU pricing would go up, it's because they also contain VRAM. And VRAM is also some type of RAM that is being used. And that's why AMD did announce officially that their pricing is expected to go up within 2026. NVIDIA hasn't said anything, but that's not surprising. That's pretty classic of them. They'll just decide to one day just say, hey, we're going to push up the pricing, especially that they're pissed off that they didn't get that meta deal. So power color, Hellhound overclock Radeon RX 9070 XT, 16 gigabytes with a Ryzen 9950 X3D using Asus ROG Astro 1200. That's going to work. If that's plenty of power. That's like overkill right there. But 1200 watts on a 9070 XT is overkill. You can definitely pull that down a bit if you would like. I edit videos, live stream, and just want to game at very high FPS. Max graphics on story mode. How good is the NVIDIA 6000 AI? Not very good. Honestly, if you're planning to get a GPU, and for some reason you have a ridiculous amount of money, you have for some reason $7,000, $8,000, or $9,000 in your bank that you're going to spend on a RTX 6000, I wouldn't suggest it. It's more for those who are using LLMs. In fact, it was tested with Monster Hunter's Wilds. You can actually, it actually compares closely to the RTX 5090. So you're spending $5,000 for extra for practically very minimal gain. You're not going to see that much difference. Of course, the big 96 gigabytes of G7 would attract anybody, but honestly, you're not going to use that all up in just gaming. That's more for those who are interested in doing things like LLMs and those who are more interested in doing some crazy sort of video editing work, maybe as high as like 12K resolution. So is my voice low, guys? If my voice is low, let me know. I'll bring it up some. How's that, guys? Is that better? So increased wattage overall. By the way, can you help me understand if it would get more performance with the Aorus Master X870E versus the X3D Ice? Okay, so the main two differences, so Desert. So you edit videos, you live stream, and you want to be able to play high frame gaming. Are you playing in 4K, or are you specifically playing in another resolution? Now, if you're curious about the whole X3D side when it comes to the motherboards, I can certainly say that the X3Ds, they're built for a better efficiency and power. And that has to do with the new BIOS that they have in there. You'll see as much as a 15 to 20% boost because of it, but also you can upgrade the X870E motherboards to that newer BIOS. So that's the only really slight difference between the two, and it's going to be a larger size. The way the BIOS is, it's more of a driver compared to the X3D versus on the prior models of the Gigabyte Aorus X870Es. But I'd say if you're trying to get the best, I would say if you can have the money for it, if you have the money for the Aorus Master X3D, you can go ahead and get that. But if you're going with the X3D Ice Aorus Master, I would just go ahead and get that. But you can also get it for a deal for X870E. Just depends on your budget. If you're trying to get maximum performance and you're also trying to stream, the X870E X3D can certainly benefit you. So I bought an Aorus Master 5090 1 month ago. So I bought it about $4,199 with tax, about at Canadian dollars. on Black Friday, the price is $37.90. It's no joke. Yeah, the pricing is ridiculous. Like when it comes to any of these RTX 5090s. It's funny because remember when NVIDIA brought this up? NVIDIA brought this up and said, hey, we're only going to charge about $2,000 for MSRP for the RTX 5090s. Ironically, the 5080 seem to be more fair priced. At least you can purchase it for close to MSRP when it comes to RTX 5080. But when it comes to the RTX 5090, no, that's a whole completely different game. You're going to spend at the minimal $2,500 on a RTX 5090, and they just constantly go up from there. So the MSI Mag B850M Mortar Wi-Fi Micro ATX AM5 motherboard worthy enough for the specs I had listed. Oh, absolutely. It certainly can be able to handle that type of specifications. Now, B850M is more of a SFF type of build, like a short form factor type of build. It can be done. You can also install it into a mid tower if that is your choice, and it would give you a lot more room to play with. Of course, there is some limitations when it comes to it. If you're looking to go with higher and faster drives such as NVMe 2.0, like PCI Express 5, M.2, if you're trying to look for those type of speeds. But for this type of build, the 9070 XT, not really as necessary. Again, 1200 watt power supply would definitely be like a bit overkill. Now, user 1898 says, for the 5080, do you have the PSU that has 12 volt high power port, or would you use the adapter to connect the two? I'll give you the answer right now. Mystery camera stutter. Oh, really? Camera stutter. You know what? Because I'm using this other program to kind of stream out. If it's still stuttering a bit, let me know, guys, and I will cut down my stream. Unfortunately, I would have to cut it off and forewarn everybody out on X or on Twitter, because I can only do so much of a stream. And it looks like, let me see. Let's see, do we 0 views? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll cut out the stream on Twitter, and that should improve the quality. I think I got too much quality going into one stream because I tried to lower the latency so it could be a bit quicker. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to cut out the Twitter output right now, and then that should do it. Let me know if that's better, guys. So hopefully that improves the quality right there. If I was going to keep the Aorus Master X870E, since I had the 9950 XTRD, should I keep it on balanced mode? Also, in any BIOS settings that I should change to optimize it. Now, the only BIOS settings you really have to optimize is if you choose to balance mode is pretty fair for you. Are you looking to, I know you're trying to get the maximum resolution, but I'm assuming this is the same system that you are also trying to stream on. If that's the case, a balanced mode would certainly make the most sense, because that would give you a bit more fairness when it comes into streaming and gaming. You don't have it overloaded into one side more than the other. But if you do adjust any of your BIOS settings, I would highly suggest adjusting the PBO2 settings. You can adjust that, and the curve optimizer is also great to mess with, which is going to be undervolting your CPU slightly. If you do that, find your perfect balance, and then you give it a stress test to see how well it does then. So I just dropped off one of the streams on Twitter. Hopefully the stream is a lot more cleaner this way. Hopefully the quality has improved a bit. Unfortunately, my bandwidth can handle only so much. So eventually I may custom water cool it in a good few years from now. And not a bad option. Water cooling is a great choice. It's a very high maintenance system. Just know if you do water cool, just remember to clean it. It's very important because you're going to be using some sort of whatever minerals that you will choose to go with your cooling system. So just make sure to do it. I think it's usually like every 6 months is best to check it. That's what I would recommend. I know some people recommend at least a year, but if you're going to go with a custom water loop, I would say check it out pretty often. Now, that's the big advantage for AIOs if you do want to say like go into that section, is at least with AIOs, you don't have to worry about too much modding, so to say, with bending tubes, and you don't have to worry about leaks. But again, custom water loop is much more quiet, so to say. It's certainly a more quiet method to go, and a more patient method. So if you do decide to go this route, make sure that there is no leaks at all after you do this custom water loop. So it's more like a frame drop than looks like stuttering at 22 FPS maybe. Oh, okay. So that's, okay. So is that my stream? Now I'm getting thrown off. Is that my stream that it seems like it's stuttering a bit? Hopefully it's smoothened a bit out. Hopefully it's smoothed out. If it did, let me know. Let me know, guys. It's my first PC ever. Is there any tips that you would give me? So the first thing I would say, so you already built this PC from what it sounds like. You already are streaming and you're already gaming. If that's the case, the highest tips I can certainly give you is make sure to get hardware monitor 64 or hardware info 64. It's a great tool to be able to track your temperatures and have an idea of how your system is running. So I would highly recommend something like that. Now, if you want to tweak anything when it comes to your PC with your power plan, hopefully you're not more of the energy saver type of guy, but the reason why I say that is because with the power plan, you want to make sure to go on full power. You want to go onto 100% highly optimized power in order for you to get the full use out of your system. If you don't do that, you're going to be capping your system a bit. And also when it goes into your BIOS settings, as we mentioned a bit earlier, you can always tune it slightly. You can adjust your XMP, or not your XMP, but you can adjust your Expo profile, and you can also adjust your PBO2 to where and the curve optimizer to set exactly where you would like. You can adjust the boost slightly, like when it comes to your CPU, to see where you would like it, to see where you get a bit more performance. That's something I would highly recommend. So would you know which driver you will use with the 5080, as each release comes with them? So personally for me, the driver I would highly recommend anybody out there who has a NVIDIA card is get the newer driver. It's not listed on the NVIDIA Studio or the NVIDIA app. It's not listed on there, unfortunately. So this specific driver, you're going to have to search for it. It's called the 581. 581.94, I think it is. The 581.94 is the new driver. It's a hot fix because apparently Windows 11 effed up this whole update when it came to their new classic Windows 11 style AI automated update, to where it kind of screwed up system settings to where it won't interfere with your NVIDIA GPU. So if you simply get this hot fix, or this new driver that NVIDIA has made, they don't have the full official one out yet, but I would highly recommend that one because you will see a better improvement when it comes to FPS and more stability with your GPU if you download this driver. Now, hey, could you review the Lenovo Legion Pro 7 and the Ryzen 9955HX 3D? Okay, I'll take that to account. Hopefully, hey, what's up, Slim Shady? Welcome in. I got it pre-built. It's actually coming in tomorrow. Oh yeah, let me know how it is. Join our Discord. Anybody who's just joining in, make sure to join our free Discord. That's down in the description box down below, and I'll actually pick it up for you guys. Hopefully the stream improved for you guys. If it did, let me know. If my stream seems a bit clear, what's up Ernesto? What's up Drunken Jim Leahy? What's up I Love Math a Lot? If my stream has improved, if the clarity has gotten better, if it's not buffering as much, please let me know, because I had to drop off one of my stream outputs, and hopefully that improved the stream quite a bit. If it did, put in a 1. If it's still a bit laggy, let me know, put in a 2, because I would love to know if this stream is working well. So, let me get back here. And that's one of our big supporters. Thank you for coming in. I love math a lot. I currently have the 4090 and the 5950X. Would you recommend keeping what I have? To go ahead and upgrade to a 9800X 3D, I have a 4K 240Hz, so I love math a lot. Are you experiencing the full 240Hz? What's up, Frozen? Good to see you. Glad you came in. Glad you made it. It's not buffering. All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, so it's been clear for you guys. Okay, because I had to drop off one of my streams, that had to do with more, I believe, with on the Twitter side. For everybody out there, I do want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. First of all, it is coming up. Be thankful for everything that we have. Be thankful that we even have PCs. Most of all, it's wonderful that we're able to have a PC to game on or stream on or even produce on, because there's a lot of people out there who wish they had a PC as well. So certainly be thankful for what we have. And for anybody that is looking to build a PC, I certainly did my best to find the best deals. In fact, somebody came in onto Gone Fishing, in fact, actually came onto the video and said, hey, you shouldn't tell anyone to buy any PC parts. And I'm not going to tell nobody to buy PC parts, because sure, there are some components that are going to be a bit more expensive than the others, but I will tell you the best price parts, and I will let you know clearly if the pricing isn't great, such as the CPU pricing isn't great right now. The RAM pricing isn't great, but the best pricing certainly is the GPU side, motherboard side, power supplies you can get decent deals on. It just, those two specific components for some reason refuse to go on sale. So in most games I do, but not AAA. I heard the 9800X 3D with help. With the stuttering I get sometimes. RAM again, absolutely. Now, if you're experiencing some stuttering, now, is it specifically on Battlefield 6? Because I do have something to say about that. And the reason being is because if it is because of Battlefield 6, or any other game, doesn't just have to be Battlefield 6. If anybody with the X3D processor specifically, I can say for certain on Battlefield 6, what happens at times is it will run the game at CCD1, and it shouldn't be running on CCD1. It should be running on CCD0, because that's where our V-cache is for the 9800X3D or the 9950X3D or whatever X3D that you have. It should be on CCD0. If it's running on CCD1, that will cause a drop in frames. Also, the anti-cheat also plays a big part, because if you pay attention to it, it will end up using your cores, all of them, both on CCD0 and CCD1. And because of that, that is also causing a performance issue. It's something that Battlefield 6 certainly should fix. I hope they fixed it by now. And hopefully everybody out there who has an NVIDIA card has the new hotfix update. Again, it's 581.94. I think that's the exact version of it, because of the new Windows updates. That was also causing frame issues when it came to the NVIDIA card. So I'm trying to build a white PC, but the RAM prices are going crazy. Do gray RAM instead of white affect? Not really. To be honest, it's honestly not that bad. And if you need RAM, just get the RAM. Who cares about the color, honestly? Because once the price goes down and you really care about the color that much, then get the color that you like. And by the time you actually want to get that color or get that RAM, more than likely, you're not going to care anymore, to be honest. The most you'll worry about is probably upgrading your capacity, and that's it. Or maybe you want something a bit faster in latency. I get that. But I would certainly get something for now, because you don't want to end up getting RAM that's at CL40. So I'm trying. So 5090 Samsung 9100 Pro, 64 gigabytes of DDR5, all 4K games, shoot as butter. Wonderful. What is your keyboard? So currently the keyboard that I have is the Corsair K100. It's the optical keyboard. Polling rate is up to, I think it's up to 1000 hertz. It's faster than that, I believe. I think 5000. I kind of forget. Forgive me for that, but it's the K100 that I usually use when it comes to my usual desktop usage. No problem. No problem. I love math a lot. Tony says, best GPU for the 7800 X3D. Crucial Pro overclocking DDR5 6400 megahertz 32 gigabytes. Fair. With a Gigabyte X870E Pro, I want is an all-white GPU that is going to be vertically mounted. Played at 1440p, ultra 4K high settings. Sounds like the perfect dream. So it sounds like you want the Gigabyte Ice GPU. That'd be great. So if you guys don't know, anybody that is also coming in, keyboard is this keyboard is actually Corsair. Frozen. So anybody who doesn't know, I finally hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I am really happy about that. So we're going to do a stream-a-thon on this upcoming Saturday. Don't miss it. I'm going to actually start at 7 a.m. in the morning. And then from there, we're just going to stream as long as we can for that day. And I got a lot planned. It's going to be fun for sure. So depending on instead the sandwich of the GPU. Now, also for everybody out there, I do want to let you guys know we will be going to CES 2026. If you haven't thought about joining the wonderful fan band, please do. The Discord is completely free. Just go down in the description box or go to our link on my web page, which is chrismizo.com. Click the Discord icon and it will take you straight into the server. We will be going at CES 2026. Make sure you catch the live event. I'm trying to find ways to make sure to get a consistent stream. The thing is, I remember earlier in the year when I did go to CES 2025, streaming wouldn't be too bad, but the problem is there would be points of the certain hotels or casinos where the signal would cut off. So I'm going to try to find something to help stabilize the stream even more. So let's go 7 a.m. Eastern time, guys. It's 7 a.m. Eastern time. Chris, do a giveaway for the 5080 Master Ice just for my birthday, please. If I could do it, if I could pull it off, I'll let you know. Is it common for some GPUs to have some issues when mounted fans facing away to... do you mean facing it horizontally or vertically? Now, if you hook it up vertically, that there could be issues maybe with the case because the fan's kind of blowing straight into the case. But honestly, there's really shouldn't be any issues. It's not like the fan's blowing into, not blowing down into the bottom of the chassis, so to say. Really, it's actually going through because it actually has heat sinks that it's going through. So technically, everything's going above the GPU. We're exiting out the back, depending on how you have your airflow set up. Now, frozen for anyone else. 5090 versus two 4070 Ti's. Super considered PCIe Express, which is for AI server LLM. So you're doing this for a LLM. Okay, so if you're trying to do something with AI, now obviously the 4070 Ti doesn't have something just like how the Blackwells do. Blackwell has something to help. It has, what is it called? TOPs in there where you can take full advantage of. Now the 5090s would certainly be better in that side. Now you can use the 4070 Ti's in that same way, but I don't know how specific you're getting on your LLM. Now either one would honestly work. It just depends on your budget. So more like how the GPU is cooled. Right. Usually it doesn't really matter as much. Like when it comes to the GPU, preferably, I would say it's best to just install it horizontally, like how, not horizontally, vertically, like how it's supposed to be, because most GPUs are designed that way. Now you can hook it up horizontally if you like, to where it gives it much more of a better aesthetic if you feel that way. Vertically. Now I'm getting my words mixed up. Vertically, it would give it like that better aesthetic, but if you hook it up horizontally like the way it should be, I feel that the airflow is much better in that sense. As earlier in the year, if you haven't heard, with Gigabyte cards, there was problems where there was like thermal paste where it was leaking because it was sitting in a vertical direction. So you don't want that to happen. And but luckily there isn't many cases of it either. Gigabyte seems that a lot of the issues have been pretty much rid of. in the early models of the 50 series. Now, when it comes to like any other cards, I've heard very little issues when it comes to hooking it up vertically. And again, that's more aesthetic. Better temperatures are technically going to be in the horizontal side because of how your case fans are pretty much hooked up into your system. Now, I can say, so hopefully everybody is excited. Yes. Oh, I just realized something. That's pretty funny. On one of my other chats here, I see that only the Twitch and some of the YouTube stuff is hooked up on my StreamBot, and unfortunately StreamBot was giving me issues with the whole posting up the links. So I'm not going to open that up because obviously that was giving us issues. But we're going to go get into it, and we're going to take a look at this, guys, which is going to be based on the wonderful Corsair deals that that's going on currently on it. And I hope you picked up on the sarcasm there, because it honestly doesn't seem all that great. Now take a look at this, guys. This is the wild part. We're going to switch over to the browser here, and here it is. So you can see how the RAM is looking. Now you take a look here. $1,069. That's just terrible. That is not worth it. 5200 mega transfers, CL38 memory kit, and this is $1,069.99. So it's only went up. Now tell me how this makes sense. Right next to it, literally. Let's see. Right next to it, literally, is a Vengeance RGB 96 gigabytes DDR5 for 5600 mega transfers for CL40. Now it's priced at a wonderful $1,080. Now that's just quite expensive. Now for the people that are worried about matching their system build, and this is the reason why, look at up the X870E or Extreme AI Top. Certainly, you know what's funny? I think I was looking at that card earlier this week, but I will certainly look at it right after this. Here you go. For anyone that wants a white RAM sticks, Dominator Titanium RGB 96 gigabytes, 6000 mega transfers, and CL30. Everything that you will want for a typical AMD system. $1,260. Now this is more expensive than most GPUs out there. Everything is over $1,000. There is nothing for around that $400 range anymore. And we were just on there. We were just on Corsair just about a week ago. And again, the hidden secret, like I said, like I was trying to tell everybody, is that the hidden secret is if you go to Newegg, and I have the link for you guys. In fact, I'll switch over here real quick, and I do have the link here so I can pull it up for you guys. But I can say this hidden secret to get some RAM is look up Crucial. I've been telling people just go ahead, get Crucial. You honestly don't need RGBs. Yes, it does make it look aesthetically nice, but it's not going to be worth, not for some lights, it's not going to be worth an extra $700 just to have some LEDs on there. Now, I'm going to show you here, like G-Skill's Flare X5s, decent deal. Hopefully they are still up for a deal, which I'm going to show you guys. You know what's funny? I don't know if you guys remember this, but Corsair actually wanted to do something like this, speaking of downloading RAM. And you might be thinking, exactly what am I talking about downloading RAM? Well, what I mean about downloading RAM is the fact that they wanted to do, not download RAM per se, but what they wanted to do was that they wanted everybody to 3D print some RAM. So that was their big idea, 3D print some RAM, and that would give less issues. And the funny thing is, I feel like that's something that's like just kind of gone in the wind. They wanted to do this about last year. These were some of their ideas, but I don't think it's come into play. Unfortunately, it's sold out already. So, apologize, guys. $269. This was one of the RAM kits that I feel that's a fair price for everybody out there who is looking for a RAM kit. I actually have everything written down here. These are all the best deals that I could currently find. Now, if you're interested in any of these deals, if you're interested in purchasing anything, I do have all this actually pasted on my newest video that I do have out. And on my newest video, hopefully maybe Amazon still has it. There's some Tridents for sale. Sold out. Wow, that was quick. People already bought them out. They were just in stock this morning. So this was another kit that was... now you can get an idea how bad it is. People are just kind of getting that FOMO moment and just purchasing RAM. It ain't even an option. I know, right? It's really honestly isn't. Do you think Kingston Fury 60... $540? Yes, technically it's a good deal as of now. It should be $540. It should be $212. Should be like around that range. Honestly, for like a kit like that. But thanks to everything going up in pricing when it comes to RAM, it just seems that it's impossible. I have a good feeling Crucial is going to be sold out too now. Let's find out. Where is it? No, I guess I didn't have it on this list. It was another list I got, guys. I'll find it. I will find the crucial ones. And let me see. Once I find the crucial ones, I'll share it. And for anybody that is looking for RAM, they actually had some really decent numbers on it. Let me see. Actually, let's see. Right, no, it won't be here. In fact, I'll just find it like this. And hopefully we'll luck out. Hopefully they'll still have some. Because, again, it's underrated for the pricing. In fact, here we go. There's only one place that might have it, and that's B&H. B&H has it. B&H Photo has some RAM. COVID for it feels like it, I gotta say. So let's go to the browsing side here. So they do have some. I apologize for the dark tint because I have this whole... blacked out mode right now. I have the dark mode on, the custom extension. So, but it is on sale at B&H for $272.99. So there you go. They do have some RAM, but unfortunately it's on B&H. That's the only one I can find so far. But I will continue to look. Actually, this is probably the kit that everybody has more of a chance to find if you are in need of RAM. Now, I'm not telling you to get RAM now, especially if you don't need it. If you already have RAM already and you're not having issues, honestly, don't even stress about it. Just sit this one through because this is more of a mental thing. The reason why I say that is because when you build your PC, right? How often, honestly, how often do you touch your RAM? How often does anybody out there touch their RAM to either upgrade or change out the RAM? If you do, if the answer is yes, how often do you do it? Do you do it every 2-3 years? So again, you have time. It's more for those who are just getting into the building side. If you're struggling to find RAM and you want to build a PC, you desperately want to build a PC, yes, then now's the time to purchase RAM, unfortunately, before 2026, because it's just honestly going to get worse. As you see on Corsair's site, just 1 week, just literally 1 week, they had RAM up there for $449 on the last stream. In fact, we went to Micro Center. They had RAM for $449. That's still not normal pricing, but it's certainly better than what we found today, which was the pricing that we found today. Again, over $1,000 for some RAM. So I paid $250 for mine for that, but white. I don't know when DDR6 is currently in the works. They're even working on, of course, G7, but that's more of the whole video card side. Samsung actually found a way, because currently right now, it's at 30 gigabits per second, how quick they can get with G7. They pushed as far, I think it's up to, they said 33, I think it's 33 now. I want to say 36, but I can't say that for certain. But I know for certain it's at least 33. So the speeds have gone up quite a bit when it comes to G7. That's certainly something that is going to attract a lot of those AI companies out there, or for anybody that is interested in building any type of, working with any type of AI. But that certainly is in the works. Same thing with even DDR6. That is something that is on its way in the enterprise side. Something that we don't honestly see in the consumer side, at least not just yet. But again, CES 2026, once that comes up, we're definitely going to take a look to see what is available out there. This is all Sam Altman's fault, right? It really is. It's all thanks to his purchases. He went to every single micro center throughout every state. All 13 of them. He went to all 13 of these micro centers to purchase all the RAM that he could. That's what it really feels like. And unfortunately, nobody has bought it up. Thanks for subscribing, Planet Shuffle. Appreciate it. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. Let me see if we can actually find some at Best Buy. Best Buy might actually have something. That's a surprise. And, oh, okay. Pick up at Roseville. I have no idea where the hell Roseville is. That's nowhere near where I am because it's set for pickup. But anyway, take a look. They do have it for sale for anyone that does live near a Best Buy and desperately does need some RAM. Again, this is not a bad kit. Why is it the CL38 kit? They have a CL34 kit. I mean, 32 kit. That's their new kit that they just released. And I'll show it with you guys. Again, this deal is not really better than their other one. They have a CL32 kit, which is a much better deal, which is around the same price. But again, if you need something to just get you by, I get it. Just don't go crazy. You don't have to get 64 gigabytes unless you absolutely need to. Unless you are working with a lot of graphics, unless you are creating a lot of content, or you're a crazy multitasker, then it would be worth getting something like this. But if you're just gaming, you're not really going to find like a big benefit onto it. We're going to continue looking here because, in fact, let's go ahead and check out Newegg because I'm just curious to see what type of RAM they got because it's ironic. It really is because as we were just talking about being thankful, we already have all people just buying all the RAM up right before Thanksgiving. The Beast Buy. Best Buy is even more expensive. Yeah, that's you know what's crazy? It's like Best Buy. Remember Ricky, guys? Ricky went to Best Buy the other day and he just said F Corsair because everything that they had was between the $400 to $500 range when it came to their RAM, and again, $1,000 range for anything that's above 64 gigabytes. Just insane. And just to give you an idea just how bad this whole RAM. In fact, I'm going to show you another website, which you may not be surprised. You might be like F Apple too, because that's where we're going to go next here. Micro Center told him deals only with in-store purchases. He had to go to each one or be charged double. F that. That's some BS. That shouldn't happen. Because look, I'm going to show you, before we go on Newegg, I just got to show you. This is just how bad. This is how you know things are bad. We're going to Apple. Now, obviously, this is not going to be an Apple stream, but it's to prove the point about how expensive RAM is getting. So we're going to go ahead and build a MacBook, right? And as you know, MacBooks can be pretty pricey. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. Your jaw might literally drop when you see this. So we're going to go down here. And, okay, so we're just going to get the, say, 16 gigabyte, right? It's about $1,800, okay? For 24 gigabytes, about $2,000. Now, say you go ahead and select it, right? And you want to up your RAM. Right here, let's see. 32 gigabytes is up $200 more. So now, for this really basic MacBook that you're paying for, you're going to spend nearly $2,200. $2,200 on a real basic MacBook with 32 gigabytes with 1 terabyte drive and a 70 watt USB adapter. It gets better. Now, say you go pro, like say you want to get something for more of a professional grade, right? You need something for producing. You need something for more editing. I bought 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM a few months ago for that 195. Today, that same kit, yeah, it's insane. It's literally like holding gold. It's better than holding gold, to be honest. Look, $3,200 for a 14-core CPU, 32-core GPU, and 36 gigabytes of unified memory. Insane. That's actually the price of something that should be the RAM's only 36 gigabytes. Right here. If you go up to 64 gigabytes, right? That's $400 more. Same exact PC, nothing really changed. You got the 14-core CPU, 32-core GPU, $400 for unified memory. $128. That's a price of somebody's laptop right there. $1,200. That's the point I'm making here. The fact that we all know Apple are crooks, right? Let's just get that out the way. We all know that they're crooks as it is. So for them to charge $1,200 for the same exact laptop, they just upgraded the memory to $1,200. So it's not just the whole desktop side. It's affecting the whole laptop side, and eventually it's going to reach into the whole handheld side. You know what's ridiculous? Even their SSD is insanely expensive. Take a look at that. 8 terabytes of SSD storage. $2,200 for 8 terabytes. What is that SSD made out of? You could get the Samsung 9100 Pro for $750, right? And this is $2,200. You can buy 2 of them for less than what you can purchase for this just 1 terabyte drive alone. This whole unified memory kit. So people joke that RAM, it's true, because it's very true. We just were on Corsair, right? All right, let's go check out Newegg now, and let's go check out their RAM here. See what kind of RAM kits that they have, because we all know that RAM is extremely expensive. So we're gonna click on their deals, and we're gonna look specifically for RAM here. So I'm scrolling here, right here on the side, so you guys can see. So we're gonna look specifically for the RAM here, and let's see if we can find some. So it's gonna be listed under memory, and here we go. Now here's some of their kit. Now you can get this wonderful monster combo kit. You can get this CPU motherboard memory combo Intel Core Ultra 9 285K bundle, right, for $929. Oh man, you can't joke about that, right? There goes the AI top motherboard right there, and then you get the Corsair CMH32 GX. That's a CL36 RAM. That's what that practically is. It's all for $929 for this kit. This is your starter kit now, guys. Chris, we all know you can give out. Oh, epic. I wish I could. That's like, you know what's funny? That's actually really good deal. What do you think, guys? Do you think that's how do you feel about that deal? How do you guys feel about that deal? So it's a Intel Core Ultra 9 285K. You get a decent motherboard, a Z890 Aorus Master AI top with the Corsair 32 gigabytes, 6400 megahertz of CL36. That is what is with this kit. Now, if we go back here, all right, if we go back here and take a look at some more RAM, now they got some sketchy stuff. Like if you're really desperate, you need some sketchy RAM, they do have it. Like they got this V-Color Manta X guide. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just never used them. Son, do you want a car for your 16th birthday or 256? Honestly, I would if I had to pick, I would pick 256 gigabytes of DDR5. What does everybody think? Would you either pick a car or would you pick some DDR5? Like in smart terms, like honestly, what would be the better investment for this year? 256 gigabytes of RAM or a car? Depends on the car too, right? Yes, it's just taxing. That's right, PTT. I mean, I've never heard of V-Color, but they do have some of these sketchy RAM kits, the Manta X Sky kits, for $240. Now I think they claim that they use Hynix too. They use Hynix RAM practically in here. But let's see if they tell you. Yeah, SK Hynix. So they do use it. They use SK Hynix for them. Now that's something you see more on the DDR5 side. You won't see Samsung as much. The investment, absolutely. It's the investment. That's right. You're investing for it. Now let's go over in the Z5 RGB series, 64 gigabytes. That's like considered a decent deal for what pricing is, but again, it's just extremely expensive. And this is again CL30. That's actually decent, which is weird to say because again, this kit should nowhere be near that price there. Pebble says, I don't know how you were recommended to me, but I got a 5070 Ti. Oh, really? Got recommended? That's awesome. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Welcome, Pebble. I got a 2K monitor. I want to see how will my PC perform on a 1440p ultra-wide monitor. Is there any website to simulate? Well, I can certainly say that if you are, I can just tell you how it would perform. Now, what type of games are you playing on your 5070 Ti and your 7900X? Is there a type of game that you're specifically playing? Now, if you're playing on 1440, you can certainly expect decent frames. I wouldn't worry about it. You're going to hit your frames. Even if it's a 240 hertz monitor, you should be able to do it. Now, you're not probably going to play on max graphics, not going to play on the ultra graphics more than likely, but you still can hit 240 hertz easy. Monster Hunter. Is it Monster Hunter Wilds? Because if it's Wilds, that's a whole nother beast there. 5070 Ti, yeah. 5070 Ti, you'll be fine, to be honest. Because, again, Monster Hunter Wilds, you'll be able to run your game. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You shouldn't have any issues when it comes to playing games such as Monster Hunter Wilds. They actually do got some great display deals, though, too. Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't have any issues. More of the games I would... Again, it's 1440. I'd be more worried if you're trying to hit 4K. If you're trying to hit 4K resolution, that's a bit different. Or trying to hit some sort of crazy number, like instead of 240 hertz, or just say you're trying to hit like over 500 hertz, then that's different. So, okay, I'm not crazy. I was certain. The RAM in my cart at Best Buy was like 225. Went to check out today. Yes. Yes, unfortunately, that's the case. Fortunately, that is the case, OCSC Mike. It's just sad. Yes, it's terrible. Right, champ? It is just hideous. The RAM is just nasty looking. So you can download, yeah, you could download the benchmark tool, but I think the thing is, Pebble doesn't have the monitor for it. So he wants to simulate it to see if it's possible. You can't simulate it, but you can certainly just get the monitor. Honestly, if there's an issue with the monitor or you're not liking it, you're not feeling it, you can always send it back, to be honest, because that's the only real way you're going to test it. And also, what's also important too is you have to make sure to have high quality cables hooked up to your PC. That's also a big factor. And don't forget to change your settings when it comes to your display, because if you feel it's ghosting or whatever, more than likely, you probably just forgot to change your display settings. It's more common than anyone thinks. It does happen, especially hooking up to a new display. Just check your display settings. Make sure you have your G-Sync on, and also make sure to have your full refresh rate at, say, 240 hertz on. That way you can fully experience Monster Hunter's Wilds. Now, thankfully, with the NVIDIA app, you could also be able to, you could optimize it in a way how you would prefer. Very easy to optimize it through there. You can set it to more performance, or you can set it to more quality, depending on the type of gamer you are. If you're more about frames, or if you're more about, again, quality when it comes to story, depending if you're that type of gamer. Now, what is the read and write speed for the 990? Now, the 990 Pro 2 terabyte is around 7,400 megabytes per second. Now, when it comes to the read speeds, it's about the same. It's like pretty much neck and neck for the most part, but they're over 7,000 when it comes to it. I just went for the pre-built ATP. We can go into it too, just to show you. I got to know how it went. Now, anybody that wants to show off their PC, feel free to show it off. Again, you're free to join in on Discord. If you guys are just joining in, welcome. Introduce yourselves, please. We'd love to know who you guys are. Thank you guys for joining in. If you're unfamiliar with who I am, I'm Chris Mizo. I talk about PC and tech. And with PC and tech, you can feel free to ask anything, even about this ongoing RAM shortage. If you're worried about any other price spiking, feel free to speak up. There is no wrong questions. We've all been there when we first built a PC. So again, we're all here to help you. Nobody is gonna break your stones for asking some sort of question. Honestly, it's better to ask now than to pay for it later. I'm only getting 700. Really? Really? That's 700? Am I seeing that right? There's no way. Yeah, 7,450 megabytes. That's how fast it is. There it is. Because I remember testing it. That's how quick it was. But why? What? Do you have it in the correct PCI Express drive in the correct location? Because that could also cause cases. Also, if anyone is aware too, if you have a X870 board or a X670 board, please be aware that if you do hook up your NVMe, make sure it's in the correct place, because it can end up breaking down your graphics card speed down to X8, which is half of what it should be. All GPUs should be running at X16. So if you are curious about that, make sure to check it out. You just download something like go to Tech Power Up, and you're going to download a GPU Z. Get GPU Z from them, and it will tell you exactly the speed of what your GPU is running at. So it's time to increase virtual memory. Oh, you know what? That just actually, you just reminded me, user, that there is, we're going to look into it right now, which is going to be the 3D printed RAM, because again, that's something that they were all discussing and they were thinking about doing, which was going to be doing some sort of 3D print for RAM, pretty much like you get the design of it. Let's see if, I wonder if there's got to be remnants of it. 3D print RAM. Because they were talking about this. I think it's just, there you go. 3D print your own top bars. This is what they wanted to do. This is one of them. And this is a blog by Corsair, in fact. They'll probably start doing that. I wouldn't be surprised. Cutting costs. Everyone has to get a 3D printer now if you want some RAM. My 5070 Ti is on its way. Sadly, RAM and CPU are left to complete your build. Hoping Friday I can snag something decent. So VIK, check out my latest video. I do have everything listed on there, which I tried to find the best prices. Currently, I would say buy some RAM quick as you can. I can say after Black Friday, you might get lucky onto Cyber Monday. There may be some RAM left, but I wouldn't be surprised if all the RAM does run out for the rest of the year, because again, there was nothing but $1,000 kits left on Corsair's website. I would say look for Crucial. Crucial would definitely be the best bet to go. So I'm building my first PC tomorrow, but I'm not sure about the cable management. Do you have any tips? Okay, so the best thing I can tell you about cable management when it comes to building your PC is have everything installed, pretty much all your components except for your GPU. After you install everything into your PC, don't hook up your power supply just quite yet. What you will do is instead you're going to route your wires to your components first, and then route it to the back of your PC to where your power supply would be. So typically your components will sit on the front. You're going to connect your ATX cable. You're going to connect, say, your to your CPU cable. You're going to connect all your main components that you need to connect for your power supply, and then you're going to route it directly in the back. That way it can make it a bit more neater. Same thing with connecting all your I/O ports to your case. You want to make sure to connect everything as well before you input the power supply. In the end, that's when you can connect everything to your power supply, and it should just pretty much click into place. That's the easiest way to do it. A lot of people will try to install the power supply first and then install the cables afterwards, which would make a bit more trouble and a bit less freedom in order to work on your PC to do that. But that's personally the best tip I can say when it comes to organizing the cables. That would certainly be the easier way to do so. But also don't be afraid to loosen up all the wire ties that are in there, or don't be afraid to loosen up all the Velcro straps are in there, because you want to spread everything as much as you can. If you are more of like a neat freak and you care about that, just loosen up everything. It doesn't matter. Just take your time putting it together, and just kind of go with the natural flow of where the wires are. If it won't pull over to a certain side, say it won't pull to the left, make sure to try to keep it to your right. All the wires that are wanting to stay to your right, stay to the right. Anything that wants to stay to the left, you make it stay to the left. And then eventually you just have your one final wrap around it to where it makes everything look a bit more centered. So that certainly would be my best tip, I would say, when it comes to wire organization, for sure. And yeah, that's definitely a good video that we got to come out with. I just put it in the main slot. Okay, if you just put it in the main slot, it shouldn't have that many issues. I would start, honestly, excuse me. Honestly, I would start trying to bench it and see what you're getting out of it. And see, because obviously there's something that's pulling on to that SSD. It shouldn't be that low. Make sure that the speeds, the PCI Express speeds are up there. Check your BIOS, because sometimes your BIOS will auto set it, and make sure that it's running at the proper speed. Make sure it's running at, say, PCI Express 4 where it should be running. And also check your GPU and your BIOS as well, because it should be also running on PCI Express 4 on your motherboard at least. So what about Corsair Vengeance? Now, it's okay. It's okay, Alexos, because you're pretty much effed about that. Honestly, anybody who does want Corsair, honestly, you guys are probably effed on that. It's not looking pretty, because in fact, I'll just show you guys. It's looking pretty nasty out there, especially for the Corsair RAM. Now we're gonna look on Newegg, because obviously everyone has access to Newegg or Amazon, but Newegg I feel would give pretty decent prices, but again, expensive. It's still really expensive. The closest you can get is something like this, which is more common, which is the 6400 megahertz at CL36 for $406. That would be your best bet. Or something like Corsair is just not looking good. And to be honest, Corsair isn't doing anything too crazy special. What Corsair is doing, or what they use, is going to be SK Hynix. Most of DDR5 is based on SK Hynix. It's not like DDR4 where you had Samsung, B-Dies, and you have SK Hynix. Now SK Hynix is practically mostly on the whole DDR5 side. So whether you go with Corsair or if you go with G-Skill, they're practically still using the same exact material. Just the only difference is it's kind of like GPUs, where you have Asus, or you have Gigabyte, or you have not even Ace Rock. They don't even touch the 50 series. But anyway, Asus, Gigabyte, or MSI, or if you have Zotac, any of them still technically have the PCB from NVIDIA, and they still get the Blackwell hardware from NVIDIA. So again, Corsair is just the name that you're paying for. The better deals would be towards G-Skill, or Crucial would be the better options to go. So never mind, it's Epic Games. I'm installing Crystal. Okay, perfect. Glad to hear that. But I'm only right. I'm getting only 1200, but for read, I'm getting over. Yeah, it sounds like something's slowing down your system. Something's dragging on it, for sure. RIP, yes. Unfortunately, $100 kits are no more. In fact, you know what? This is what we're going to miss here. In fact, I'm going to show you guys in it. We went to Micro Center a few months ago, in fact. Well, besides the stream last week, we also went to Micro Center. What's up, Orstal? It's going great. Genuine question, is 240 hertz? No, it's noticeable. 100% noticeable. That's a great question that you certainly ask. I can say that you can certainly notice the difference when it comes to the refresh rate, and you just have a lot more of a quicker reflex when you're playing things like first-person shooters. So I can certainly say for certain it's not just a flex. It's going to be actually more of the standard now that you're going to see in monitors, because before you would see 244 hertz was more of the common number, but it's no longer just the common number. 240 hertz is now the standardized number when it comes to refresh rates, when it comes to displays. The good thing is that a lot of those displays that are 240 hertz are, again, they're all for great deals. So you can actually get some decent deals for your for those type of displays if that is what you're looking for. Now, personally, to me, I do have to say, and if anybody is looking for monitors out there, the biggest, even more of a flex than just the 240 hertz is if you have OLED. If you have a straight up OLED display, I'm telling you, that is like night and day. Even next to IPS, you think IPS is decent, you think it's beautiful colors, I'm telling you, it makes that look like nothing. If you get OLED, I just remember just going into games, like simple games, such as like Pal World, you can see the difference in the color alone. So here it is. So we're going to look here, and we're going to take a look. Take a look, guys. This is back in the good days, right? This whole bundle that I bought, right? This whole bundle that I bought was, take a look at this, guys. I will share this with you when we built this whole RX 9070 XT build. This was a bit earlier in the year. In fact, I'll show you. I'll just show you because your jaw might drop of how cheap the pricing was. And here it is. This was the order, right? You see the pricing of the Corsair RAM? Take a look at that. That's what it should be. That's what it should be. That's what fair RAM pricing should look like. That's how astronomical the pricing is now. So I'm building a Kind 95. Awesome. What's so special about? Nothing really. It's just the branding. It's just that you're used to using something. You could use it in IQ, so to say. Like if you have all Corsair products, that's certainly a much more easier feature for you to do. King 9 OLED Flex, absolutely. I got the MSI OLED 5. It's a beast, isn't it? Tell him, Silent. Yeah, I know it's a beast. You tell him, Silent Fusion. It's how much do you like it better than your IPS display? How much of an improvement was it when you went from IPS to OLED? Isn't that insane? Oh, thank you for following, Orostovo. I apologize if I butchered your name any. Let me know if I said it correctly. Aristovo. Thank you for following. Thank you, bro. Sub. You stay. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, brother. So, yeah, $93. That's how much it should be. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Make sure you join in on Subathon. It's, again, I'm not Subathon. Now I said Subathon. Make sure you join in on the Streamathon. It's on Saturday. It's coming up Saturday, 7 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure you guys stay tuned. It's going to be a big celebration day. You'll see, of course, you'll see Jonah. He'll be here. So should I go all in on an AM5 DDR5 build, or should I stick to AM4 DDR4 because of the markets? If I were you, so if you're going to go all AM5 DDR5 build or I'm telling you, honest, Zaza Vinci, you're in a bad spot. You're in a bad spot. I'll tell you that straight up. And the reason being is because DDR4, and they're going to stop manufacturing it after this year. They might still manufacture it now because just how bad the shortages are. But for anyone who is thinking of AM4, you're pretty much on a dated system. And Samsung has pretty much said, we're not touching DDR4 anymore. We're done with it. I'm not sure if SK Hynix will be the same way, but I'm pretty sure they'll follow in Samsung's footsteps and do the same. So I would say it's definitely better to go AM5 if you could. But what I would say is don't go crazy and purchase a $600-700 RAM kit. Instead, you should purchase a RAM kit where it should be more around the $200 or $300 range, at least to get you around. Or maybe you know somebody that has a PC that maybe has some RAM that they have. Just get some RAM temporarily, at least to get you around, because you can always end up selling it afterwards. So if you get, like, say, 6400 megahertz of CL36, right? Some really basic, it's not the best RAM, but at least it's something. At least you can game on it. or at least you can do some of your PC tasks on it. So what you can do is use it until then, until RAM kind of normalizes back in pricing. You're probably not going to get a lot back for it if you do end up selling it or whatever. But when you do, at least you can purchase at a more normal price. So I would say definitely go AM5. That would be the better option. Feel like I'm looking at a window now, not a screen. Oh yeah? I'm pretty sure that everything works, but because of shipping issues, AM6 platform. Oh, AM6, that's not going to come out till within probably maybe 2020, what is it? 27. You probably won't see AM6 till then. You'll see Zen 6. Zen 6 will come out. AM4 Budget SFF build. You can do it. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with doing a full-on AM4 build. You can do it. I'm not telling anybody not to do it, but I can say you will have to face the repercussions of when it comes to legacy PC hardware. Now, anybody who has a PC, or maybe you're just getting back into building PCs, has had experience when they built at the time, it was a $2,000 rig. It was a $2,000 PC, and now they want to sell it back on the market. They're thinking maybe they could get at least maybe $1,000 for it. Time has passed a lot quicker than they realized. And they said, oh, wait, this is only worth, honestly, this is only worth maybe a $300, like a $300 PC. And with legacy hardware, if you just want to improve that legacy hardware, it actually tends to get a bit more expensive. You're actually, when you end up spending like RAM, or you start spending things like, say, just like upgrading certain components, like even modern components to your legacy hardware, it just won't perform the same as it would compared to a newer board or to a newer style. So on Amazon, you can still buy DDR2. Oh yeah, of course you can, but it's not going to be brand new. You can buy it on the used market. That won't be an issue. Just wait till that's pretty much the mindset of what everybody has right now. Just wait until DDR6 and purchase. Is 2500 PC high end? Now a 2500, it's considered high end gaming for sure. $2,500 is more high end gaming because you could easily do 4K native on something that's $2,500. That wouldn't be an issue. I would say it's more for those who are struggling when it comes to, say, like it's for those who are more struggling into like trying to build like $1,000 rig. Anybody that wants to do like a $500 rig is pretty much a dead on the water now. Like there's no way you're gonna do it unless you get like used components, because RAM alone's like $300. And then if you get a decent GPU, I mean, honestly, you can get a 5060 if you really wanted to start something and you're pretty desperate to start something. You could always do that, but again, you can honestly buy GPUs cheaper than RAM currently. That's just how bad the fluctuation in the market is right now. So, dang, okay, brother, thanks for the info. I will get what I can. AM5, is it dumb to buy used RAM? It's not really dumb. Technically, there's a lot of people who will buy used RAM. There's been plenty of times where I sold RAM, and nothing wrong with it. I just wanted to upgrade. For example, I had a 16 gigabyte kit. I wanted to go to 32 gigabytes, so I sold this 16 gigabyte kit. So most of the time, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nobody really out there that really abuses RAM, unless they're just like, yeah, it's really rare for RAM to really have issues. It gets finicky more if there's like damage to like the gold fingers on the RAM or something like that, or even when it comes to like even just the DRAM, really, like there could be a corrupt RAM out there, but again, it's not as common as anyone would think it is. And most people hopefully will sell honestly if you are purchasing on eBay, and always check the feedback ratings, because that's going to be important. I got a 9800 X3D, and I have a 9070 XT Mercury OC, and I do like XTX. They make great actually great GPUs. Originally they were with NVIDIA at a time, even before the whole now their name just slipped my mind, before EVGA, right before EVGA XFX was part of the whole NVIDIA cycle, and they actually left even before the whole before EVGA even left. But B850 or Elite Wi-Fi 7, 32 gigabytes, or Corsair CL30 6000 hertz. So these are your. So that's what you got. That's actually really good. That's decent. I'm assuming you probably got it before this whole RAM craze, I bet. Let's say you're using DDR4 and you're using 4 sticks total. 2 from Crucial and 2 from Corsair. No, there wouldn't be issues. The most important thing is that the timing is the same, like mostly the same, at least for the most part. You want everything to match more. The issues is if, again, the timings are off. Like if anything is off, then that can cause a disruption. That can cause the weird hard freezing out of nowhere where then it suddenly just starts working again. But most importantly, you want it to match. And you can easily do it. You can easily set it manually when you get into the BIOS and see if it works well. Because again, like now, especially with DDR5, you're going to run into less issues because everyone practically uses the same type of die when it comes to SK Hynix. So you shouldn't have an issue, say, from G-Skill or Crucial or Corsair. So I have many GPUs, a 4070 Ti and a 5060, 16 gigabytes. Okay, 5060 Ti, 16 gigabytes, and a 7900 XT, 7800 X, and oh wow, quite a bit. I buy stuff I don't need all the time. That's awesome. It's good to have backup. Doesn't hurt to have it. But it certainly sounds like you can take advantage of it for sure if you wanted to. Hey, I have a question. My PC specs is a 14700K, a 5070 Ti, motherboard Z790 SSD XPG, S70 Blade, PSU 750 Gold, and XPG 6000 megahertz RAM still. Why is my startup and my app loading speed slow? So do you mean when you first start on your PC, you feel like it's not as responsive as it should be? How long ago did you do this build? I have to ask. I'm happy with my 32 gigabytes DDR5 5600 megahertz CL40. X3D CPUs aren't affected by RAM as much. It's true because, again, thankfully, because of the wonderful Vcache that we do have access to for now. I like how you threw for now at that last moment. Should I spend 220 on 30? Yes. If you need it, yes, Drew. Personally, if I saw it for 220 bucks, I'd buy it myself. That's insane. What's the latency on it? I'm assuming it's got to be like CL36 or something. Because if it's CL32, I would say, where do you live? Which micro center? Because I'd go to that. I would probably buy it off the shelf right now if that's the case. Because when I was there, it was a whole different story. OLED just makes sure not to have fixed stuff on screen for an extended period to mitigate burn-in, to have pixel shift color intensity. That is true. OLED actually stresses, he's completely correct. Believe it or not, when you're gaming, that is not when the OLED display gets affected mostly. You assume, oh man, this is going to beat the crap out my OLED display. Like me playing some Battlefield 6, but it's actually honestly constantly changing the scenery when you are playing your games. Regardless if you played for, say, 10 hours straight your OLED will not be as affected compared to you going onto something like VS Code or something. You go on VS Code and you have HDR on for some reason and you decide to start typing code, you'll actually have more of a serious issue than actually gaming for 10 hours because it's practically mostly, for the most part, on the same screen for 10 hours compared to something like something that is as active like Battlefield. And a lot of the burn-in actually happens because of the heat. The heat actually practically cooks the pixels onto the screen. And it cooks it well enough to where it's well done, where you can actually see it. But thankfully, a lot of the newer displays, such as LG, Asus, they all have heat sinks in them, which also helps prevent it. So I have 32 gigabytes of DDR5, 6000 megahertz, and CL97 bucks. There you go. what's 6,000 megatransfers. I get it. Well, I got what you're saying, Steven. But yeah, that's awesome that you got it for a great deal. I hope everybody ends up getting it for a great deal. Again, the current deals that I do find, unfortunately, all the stuff that I put onto my video, specifically on the RAM side, seems to be not really there. I mean, V-Color has theirs, but they're a bit sketchy. I've never heard of V-Color before, which is these ones right here. If you're looking for if anybody out there is looking for some sort of RAM, this is it. Oh man, I can't even take it seriously. But this is it right here. It does got it got 4 review ratings. That's a bit sketch to me because you don't know if they're real people. But anyway, it's $240, and you can get CL32 and 6400 megahertz. Now, Crucial has like a similar package. I hope Crucial still has it because Crucial had a decent one, 6400 megahertz and CL32. I think I put double L2 by accident. And unfortunately, they don't have it. Even for this RAM here, which is DDR4, is at $189. That is really expensive for DDR4 when it should be in a much lower range. So it's paired with the i7-14700K and the 90. That's a good mix. That's the perfect mix right there. G-Skills, this one's not, it's questionable, $499. That's not really much of a deal. $899 is really high, super expensive. $406.99 for the Corsair white RAM for anyone that is looking for their white builds. Again, you're just paying top dollar for something that it should not really be that rate. Like here goes one. They have 32 gigabytes, this is CL36, and this is 6400 megahertz. Not bad. It doesn't see, the thing is, the reason why this one's selling cheaper than the others, I'll tell you right now. The reason why this one is selling cheaper than the others is because this does not have AMD Expo in it. Because the voltage is 1.35, so I bet this is XMP. Usually Expo is like 1.4. But when you click it, it says 1.4. That's weird. But this should be pretty much Expo rated then, if that's the case. We'll find out. But again, it's still really expensive for the RAM. Opinions on the XG27AQ a great starter way to start off when it comes to OLED. It's actually decent, 1440p, and it's you'll actually appreciate the colors. It's I believe it's on either third or fourth generation OLED, and the best part is it has the built-in pixel cleaning, and it does have the pixel remapping. It also has USB-C, which you can certainly take advantage of, and it even has a nice phone stand on it. So the XG27AQ WMG is certainly a decent way. No, the RAM price just went up like, wow, it's $260. It's like you know what's crazy? It's literally like watching a high volatility stock. It's literally like watching something like NVIDIA, or you know what's? It's even worse. It's like watching GameStop. So Shiva Dashin Gaming. Hi, I'm new to PCs, and I got a pre-built, and I want to ask if the GeForce RTX 5070 Ti 16GB, it's an excellent GPU. I have no idea. Also, the CPU is the Ryzen 7900, I believe. Thank you. So that's a great question that he does ask. It's a great GPU. It's certainly great for you if you are looking to game at, say, 1440. Nothing wrong with it. I would say go ahead, go for it. It's definitely not a bad choice to get that type of GPU. This would certainly satisfy a lot of people out there who are ultra-wide gamers or who games on devices such as like by resolution, typically like 2560 by 1440. That would be great resolution for you guys, especially running at 240 hertz. Certainly a good one. Asus listed as number 1. Exactly. It is really good. The only difference I got to say about that version is that the display is excellent, especially if you hook it up to monitor arms. Now, some people may not like the stand that it comes on because it's more of it's not like a metal base like their usual Asus monitors. It's more of like a harder plastic type of base compared to a metal base. Now, for OLED gaming, absolutely, it's great for anyone who wants to start OLED gaming. It's a night and day difference. I'm telling you, it is insanely different. Norway guy says, hello, I don't know which is better. Go 5070 Ti. This Norway guy says 5070 Ti or 5070. Ignore the 5070, to be honest. Go 5070 Ti. That is the way to go. Is emulation heavily on the G? That is a great question. That also depends on what you're looking for exactly. What are you trying to do with your PC? And what do you exactly mean by emulation? Because there could be a lot of different meanings here. Insane black. Absolutely, the blacks. There's been times where I thought I shut off my monitor, but it turns out that the whole time that the monitor was actually completely lit, that there was no issues. I mean, not no issues, that it was actually on. That's a GPU I call good. Yes, 16 gigabytes is a must. It pains me seeing mini LED versus plain OLED or tandem OLED. I would love to see Asus's new tandem OLED for sure. The VG27AQ ML5A monitor, 2560, yes. 300 hertz, fast IPS, ELMB sync, AMD FreeSync. Is that the monitor that you're currently looking at right now, DLY? Because if that is, it's a great monitor, especially if you're just getting started into PC gaming. So you guys, if you see his monitor here, it's great for anybody that is just getting started into PC gaming. It's actually a great budget monitor for anyone who is looking to just get started. It's really cheap, actually. You can actually even purchase it. It should be, correct me if I'm wrong, DLY should be like around that $250 range about. You can actually purchase it for that low. And it actually has a lot of the advanced technology that they have in this monitor that you can take advantage of, especially if you are, say, a first-person game shooter. If you're into those type of games, this is a great monitor for that. OLED True Blacks, way better contrast. Yes, and that's the biggest difference, is the response rate is amazing. But it's a decent, again, it's a decent monitor. You can certainly go for it. Of course, you got the bigger budget. I always highly recommend OLED. OLED's just an amazing display, but I know not everybody is going to have the money to spend on OLED, which is understandable. Great way to start. Again, IPS is something that you want to look for. The only ones I don't really like as much are more of the VA displays. If you ever look at the VA displays, the colors are gorgeous. They are wonderful. But the problem is you're going to get that weird ghosting, and not everybody can really get used to the ghosting to that when it comes to those VA displays. It's kind of nasty looking, to be honest. Meaning is what I wanted to run is RPC S3 and said PS4 in the terms of emulation. I heard. Thank you for subscribing, Byron. I certainly appreciate it. Meaning is I wanted to run like RPC S3 shader PS4 in terms of emulation. Oh, sort of. Yes, that is in that sense. Yes, in that sense. But honestly, a lot of them out there, you'd actually switch over to the GPU side more. So I wouldn't really worry about the CPU as much. And you can always, it all depends on what you're using. Just like RPC S3, I'm pretty sure there's a way where you can just focus it directly onto the GPU side. So yes, you can put it onto the CPU side, but you can also switch it up there. Do you think the DDR5 prices will go down anytime soon? I will tell you exactly when I think it's going down. When it goes down, it's going to be more than likely in late 2026. So around the same time next year. That's when you start to see it to calm down. At the minimum 6 months. That's just how crazy it is right now. In fact, it affected even cyber-powered PCs. They're increasing their prices. Apple's increased their prices. Quite a few manufacturers out there has increased their prices due to this craze of DDR5. So unfortunately, the reality of things are, if you need to get DDR5, I would get it sooner than later, because as soon as it sells out within this year, you're not going to see it until 2026. And when you see it in 2026, it's just going to be just god awful expensive, just terrible. So I use the LG C2 65-inch. I love the C2. It's a great display. They even have G-Sync in it. It's quite amazing. I actually have the C1. One of the guys here, he has a C5. There is more problematic OLED monitors than not, right? Actually, that's a myth. That's the whole problem with the OLED monitors. That's pretty much a myth. You don't really see burn-in as much as you used to. You would see it more in about 2018, 2019, when OLED was like really first introduced. LG was like one of the first manufacturers that came out with their displays. And when they first released it, then they would actually have issues. It was their first gaming monitor, and unfortunately it had issues. Again, it didn't dissipate the heat as expected. So of course it built up the heat within the display and caused the burn-in. But luckily we're in about 5-6 years later, the technology has improved to the point where they're able to figure out to install heat sinks into monitors. They're able to figure things like pixel remapping and different technologies in there, such as they even have what's the word for it? Adaptive displays, to where they know if you're sitting in front of your PC, if you're sitting in front of the monitor, it will dim down if it knows that you walk away from it to help save any type of possible burn-in. So what are we looking for in a PC? I assume GPU and CPU. As my friend told me, the RAM. So I guess 32 gigabytes is fine, right? Yeah, sorry, I just started and no, almost nothing. No, that's okay. So it all depends what you want to get into. I see with your username, you have Shiva Dashin Gaming. So I'm assuming you're into gaming. So the first thing you want to look for is the GPU. That is the most important aspect when it comes to building a PC, especially for gaming. Then that's when you focus on the other aspects, such as the CPU. Because once you have your GPU, you have a certain idea and you have your expectations for your build. So if you're going to go AMD, you go with the AM5 platform. You go with Intel, you're going to go with Intel's, depending on which one you want to get, whether you want to get Raptor Lake or you want to get Nova Lake, depending on which one you want to get. Either way, but you want to know the GPU most importantly. The CPU is always secondary. And the reason being is because you don't want the CPU to bottleneck. You rather have all the bottleneck go to your GPU. That's the most usual case when it comes to gaming. Now, what would build to run iRacing on Quest 3? For something like that, you honestly don't need as much. But I would say highly suggest anybody for a value to dollar. I would say go RX 9070 XT. Definitely the king of the GPU of this year. The RX 9070 XT is an absolute monster, and for value, again, you get 16 gigabytes of G6, and it does every type of game with no issue, especially for anybody out there who are Black Ops players. No offense to all the Black Ops 7 players out there, but I just feel that game's ridiculous. But if you are into that game, AMD is built well for Call of Duty Black Ops 7. So what's are the NVIDIA's GPUs as of 2025 on the high end? So on the high end side, you have the RTX 5090. That is the most high-end GPU you can get today, and the most ridiculous amount, especially if you're going to use it just for gaming. If you are going to game on it, I hope you have a display that can run 4K 240 Hertz, because that's when it would come in handy. Now, for the secondary side, it would obviously be the RTX 5080 at 16 gigabytes. That would be the secondary most highest. And then from there, you go 5070 Ti on the NVIDIA side. But I am hoping, I know everybody here is hoping, and if you are AMD fans, I hope you are thinking the same thing what I'm thinking, which is during the AMD press conference, let's hope that Lisa Su has a high-end AMD GPU in the way. If it happens at CES 2026, you'll certainly be one of the first to see it, especially if you subscribe and follow the channel, because we're going to be there live January 5th at 6:30 Western time, which is going to be the West Coast time. So on Amazon, a lot of RAM dispatch time says 7. Oh, really? It's really, it makes me curious. You make me want to look. What's up, Snecker? It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little while. Reverse fans or for the bottom intake. So the reverse fans, it can be either for the bottom or it could be for like if you have like the on the side. If you have the vertical fans on the side, it would be great for that too. Or even the back of the case, because then it gives you more aesthetic on the inside if you're looking through the window. But be careful with some of the 9070 XT though. Yes. If personally for me, I'd say like one of my personal favorite 9070 XTs is the Sapphire Nitro Plus. It's an awesome card. Somebody was recommended Ace Rock, but some people don't. It's a bit of a mixed bag from what I hear from most people. I hear it's one of the most silent cards though when it comes to the 9070 XT. Is the game PC simulator? Yeah, honestly, it would be great. I should put that onto the streamathon just to see what it's like. I haven't played it myself, but I would assume it would be pretty close to the real thing. What does everybody think? Has anybody actually used the PC building simulator out of curiosity? I think that they're on the second version now, if I'm not mistaken. My worst nightmare, build core limited models. My first car was $600. Yet, it's pretty insane. That's like as much as how much some RAM kits are more than that right now, which is insane. The 9080 XT could shift the GPU. I am hoping for this. I am hoping that there is some real competition when it comes to the whole GPU side. We certainly do need it. It's pretty bad as it is now, because now NVIDIA can price out whatever they would like, because they're practically the king. They can say the next RTX 6090, where it requires some nuclear power to be able to run it, expect it to be at like at a price of $5,000 MSRP. And of course, if it's at $5,000 MSRP, you can certainly expect the pricing from places like Gigabyte, Asus, MSI, bring it up to $6,000. And there's no real rule to it, because they can price it nearly as much as they would like it. And it's like people don't have a choice but to purchase it at that point, because there's no competition. And that's why we need AMD to come out with something like a 9080 XT or a 9090 XT or whatever they call the card, or they call it AI something. So what are the cons and pros of liquid cooling? Excellent question, Dots, because the pros and cons is it's the pro side. It is the most silent you would ever hear a PC. In fact, if you turn on your PC, you would have no idea that it is on. Also, when it comes to the water cooling side, everything is a bit more smaller in fitment. Your GPU, your CPU, everything will be encased in practically like in a water shroud. So that would actually keep it nice and cool. It won't be as thick. It'll take up a lot less space. You can even cool your RAM, which is pretty dope. Now, the negative side, it takes a lot of time to do a custom water loop. It takes time to bend the tubes, depending on the type of piping that you end up choosing. Some people choose regular, like flexible, almost like flexible silicon, where it's a bit easier to maneuver, which makes it a lot quicker to do the build. If you choose the more of a poly build, to where you actually got to heat up the pipes and actually bend it and make sure that you don't actually cause any fractures in those bends, that would take a bit of time. And then better yet, they even have glass tubing, which it looks even nicer because it's clear. And because of how clear it is, and how you got to be really careful of the type of material that you end up using with glass. You don't want that to end up breaking or shattering, because of course that's also a negative. Also, it's a bit more maintenance. It's a bit more high maintenance, because you have to honestly clean out that system. You got to clean out the pump at least every 6 months. That's what I would recommend. Some people do it for every year, but for me, honestly, I would say every 6 months, because you don't really realize how much dust and dirt really go through your system. So it's very easy for it to get contaminated. And also the other negative is leakage. And one more negative I can say is, don't expect the money that you put into water looping, don't expect to get it back. you're not going to get that money back. In fact, it's harder to sell. That's the other negative if you end up trying to decide to sell that type of PC. I know that was a bit lengthy, but hopefully that answered your question, Dots. Okay, so I understand that the GPU I have in the pre-built is good, but what about the CPU? The one I got is a AMD. Honestly, it doesn't matter as much because the 7900 is decent. What matters more is your GPU because you're gaming. The CPU is not really going to kick on as much. You might get maybe 20% out of it. Unreal Engine 6 will, not 6, Unreal Engine 5 will end up using a good 80%. I'm kidding. No, they're not going to use 80%. Unreal Engine 5 is ridiculous, though, when it comes to system resources. From Unreal Engine 5, you can expect maybe about 30% usage out of your CPU, like 25-30% usage. And then your GPU will take the brunt of the rest of it, like maybe a good 75 to 80%. I'm doing great, Snecker. It's the time difference, man. It's late already. Yeah, I apologize for all my European buddies out there. I'm glad you guys came in. Just to let you guys know, we will be doing a streamathon this upcoming Saturday to celebrate that we finally hit 10,000 subscribers. It's amazing. Thank you guys for being a big part of the journey. Really couldn't do it without you guys. Hopefully I see you guys there. It's going to start at 7 a.m. Eastern. So Power Color or Sapphire? Sapphire. I go Sapphire. Thermal Grizzly Man showed the sound result. Yeah, Thermal Grizzly is also a great choice. They do have, when it comes to thermal paste, Cryonaut's really good. Doesn't really have two 8-pin power connectors. For the 9070, it depends on the one that you get. Now, I can say the Sapphire uses the 12-volt high power port. They do use it. Unfortunately, that's still an issue. That's an ongoing issue that is constantly going on. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but it actually happened to somebody with the RTX 4090. It was their Gigabyte. Oh, thanks for following, Deagle God. I certainly do appreciate it. Thank you for following. And I do have to say, what's up? I just saw your message. And I do have to say, when it comes to certain 9070 XTs will have that some of them will end up using the two 8-pin connectors. But again, it's getting more phased out. I don't expect it, especially on the high-end side, if AMD does decide to come out with like a 9080 or a 9090 XT. They were going as high as, what was it, 3 now? Like 3 pins? But now, like if you look at some of the harnesses, especially for the 5090, they use up to 4 PCI Express 8-pin connectors for one 12-volt high-power port, which is just pretty ridiculous. But going back to the whole 4090, he was gaming on it for quite a while. He actually had the card for about 2 years, and he kept plugging, unconnecting, thinking it was an issue with his GPU. Turns out that it was just a cable. Luckily, there wasn't any real serious damage, but I think the one time he actually ended up doing it, ended up melting it to his GPU, and unfortunately he was unable to unplug it. And guys, when you hear these stories, don't get too paranoid about your PC, especially if you have something, a 12-volt high power setup. Definitely a lot of fear involved because it's just newsworthy, so to say. Don't unplug it unless you need to. And the reason being is because when you do so, thank you for coming from Europe. We got a lot of guys from Europe, Deagle. I can say that you should only unplug it for maybe about 25 to 30 times at most. You're not supposed to constantly unplug that device because it causes wear on the cable. And if it causes wear on the cable, you're just going to damage your graphics card and your connection. So don't do it unless you have to. Don't start checking your 12-volt high power port because you're hearing these horror stories. And the one indicator, the one dead giveaway, was that once he started gaming on his PC, was that his PC would shut down, as in defense. And the reason why his PC would shut down is because it wouldn't get the power. It would assume, oh, wait, there's no power coming to the GPU. Shuts down. That's the main reason why. So if you get indications of that, like weird random shutdowns, then check it. Don't just check it because you're hearing these horror stories. You can physically look at it. You can make sure that it's completely in the connection, especially if you have one of those MSI power supplies, because it's yellow, you'll see it sticking out. Just make sure that you don't see any yellow, you don't see any blue. There's all different colors now for the 12 volt high power ports now. But if you have a standard black one, just make sure it looks flush. Make sure it's sitting up against the GPU. So what do you do when your fan stops? You mean spinning, right, Landon? So if your fan stops spinning, check your BIOS. That's the easiest way to check it. Now, which fans are exactly stop spinning? Is it all of your PC? Is it your whole case fans? Or is it just specific fans? Maybe dead on arrival, MOBO, or PSU. Could be. That could also be a case. When water cooling makes noise, turn it off and give it away. Oh, thank you for the laugh, Kieran. That sounds fun. Don't try that, by the way. I have 64 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 megahertz. Would it make sense to build a PC around that? Or I mean, it does. Technically, you could sell off your 64 gigabytes and start building a PC. Again, I don't recommend building on an AM4 because, again, you're pretty much on a dated system as it is. And you don't want to get to the point where you're going to spend premium dollar for DDR4. I mean, you're going to be neck and neck in pricing with DDR5. I'm honestly, in a way, it kind of helped you guys because of this whole AI phase where it caused DDR5 to get more expensive. If this didn't happen, DDR4 would already be more expensive than DDR5. Reason being, again, because you're paying more tax because it's legacy hardware. So Tim says, I have, where was I? Dots. How much do you usually save by building your own PC? You save a lot. You certainly save a lot, Dots. When you know what kind of build that you want, you will save a ton of money. Especially because you can actually figure the price that you want, and you'll have an idea of what kind of build that you would like to go ahead and deal with. So flash drives to update BIOS. Now, if you go flash drive, make sure it's set in F8 and FAT32 at least when you do a flash put your BIOS in there to flash it. Otherwise, don't put it into NTFS because it's not going to recognize it. Or even if it does, you're just playing a very risky game at that point. But if you do flash your BIOS, FAT32, make sure it's in that type of drive format. And also, I recommend SanDisk because SanDisk makes excellent USB. Do not use PNY. PNY has been sketchy, even on the USB side. So do not use PNY. It's my personal suggestion. Maybe you had a better experience, but most of my experience with PNY, it works great in the beginning, but it turns into ass like after 6 months. So I think the 9600X with the RX 9070 XT is a good pair. Agreed. Is 100? Yes, that's normal. That's what you want. You want one. This is a great one that Kieran has brought up. You want 100% GPU utilization. Reason being is because it means your GPU is working. If you don't see this, it's because you're using Unreal Engine 5, and I'm not kidding. That will end up messing it up. That or an anti-cheat such as Battlefield 6, you may not see this. 100% is what you need to see out your GPU. So there is a value in the fun you had with the PC. I would never think of a PC as an investment, just something... I know, it's insane, right? Who would have thought? Remember when phones and smartphones first came into the picture? And tablets, we thought, man, desktop PCs are on their way out. There's no way they're going to last. There's no way that... yeah, thanks Shiva for subscribing. What's wrong, Kieran? Yeah, it's pretty insane because we all thought, like when phones, tablets all came out, we thought it was all coming to an end, our beautiful desktops. But now look who remains king, right? So I'm running a 32 gigabytes of If you say so, I'll say that. I am a person that likes cores and threads. There are many games that like many cores, like Battlefield 6 loves cores. So I would go with 12 cores and 24 threads more. It makes sense. It works great on Intel processors because of that, and it can run on more cores because of it, because it's something that it's used to. Excuse me. When it comes to AMD, it's not used to splitting, just like CCD0 and CCD1. it gets a bit confused, and the anti-cheat certainly doesn't help because it's forcing all the cores to run on it. So, the Eagle God says, thoughts of 360 Hz 1920. It's a decent monitor, great monitor to honestly go with. It's IPS. Again, it's great for those who are very competitive when it comes to first-person shooters. If you're more of a competitive gamer, 360 Hz certainly gives you the edge. I know a lot of people are out there, well, you can't really see it. You can't see 360 Hz. You may not see it technically, right? You may not see the motion in your eye, but when you're actually playing in the game, you actually will have the much more quicker and faster reaction when it comes to somebody, say, playing against over 120 Hertz. Think of it like you can see them, you will be able to see them twice as fast as they see you. So you can react a lot more quicker. And that's why you see these high competitive monitors at such insane, crazy refresh rates, because they are made to be competitive. Now, so what do these RAM numbers mean? Like 30, 36? That's the RAM timings. So all that is all RAM timings that can be adjusted. The last number is usually like CL, like 38, which is going to be your latency. But that's just all timing when it comes to it. But that's a great question, Vanessa. Yeah, and the last one, you're correct. The last one is CL. Hex here says, another quick question, undervolting both the CPU and GPU or just the GPU? Now, what I would recommend depends on, now this is a great question. Reason being why this is such a great question is because it depends on what you have. If you have an RTX 5090, you don't want it to be a power hog, then it's good to undervolt it. Then there is a very good reason why to do it, because then you can expect the same type of performance, but then it requires a whole lot less less power. So instead of running at a full, technically it's running at 600 watts, right? It's running at a lot of power, your GPU, the RTX 5090. So imagine you brought it down to 500 and you're able to get the same exact frames or even better. So then it's worth undervolting your GPU because of it. When it comes to your CPU, certainly is, because then again, you're being a bit more energy efficient in a sense. You can take advantage of tools such as the PBO2 and the curve optimizer, where you can set your clocks. So still manage to get 120 FPS paired with the GTX. That's actually pretty, that's impressive, I gotta say, Abdullah. Best 9070 XT considering heatsink and temps. Personally, the best one that I've seen was the, I feel the Sapphire Nitro Plus has certainly been quite the performer. Out the 9070 XTs was certainly impressive, and AMD has been great when it comes to their drivers. Let's see. So I picked up a 9070 XT yesterday, and I'm about to go pick up a CPU motherboard combo. Will I run into any bottlenecking issues if I get... No, absolutely not. If you end up choosing to go ahead with a 9070 XT, you can end up picking up the CPU mobile combo. I'm assuming from Micro Center. Micro Center has some great deals on that. You get the 9600X, and I think most of the time they'll package like a AMD, what is it, not AMD, Asus, the Asus B850 motherboard with it, typically their Wi-Fi Plus or the Wi-Fi A board, and that will typically work well. The most important factor, again, when it comes to anybody that is getting any type of GPU, or if you're using it for that specific purpose, such as gaming, then that is the most important factor, is going to be the GPU more than the actual CPU. Because again, you want the bottleneck to be more on the GPU side, assuming that's what you're looking for if you are a gamer. So for size, I have to go Power Color or Sapphire, so design and color. Power Color is excellent too. I do like the Devil cards. The Devil cards are excellent. So if anyone is thinking of that, that is a excellent choice out there. So David Purnama says Ryzen 5 5600 and RTX no on my country. So if you're very limited to what you have, the minimum that I would highly recommend is going to be the RTX 3050 is real sketchy, to be honest. I would go RTX 3060 at the minimum. If you had to choose between that, if you're very low on all resources, I want all brand new. I did not know they still had new RTX 30 series. They still had brand new ones. I know they still have 40 series. But again, it could be different in other areas. I could be completely wrong on that. Is it true that RAM prices? Yes. 616 Universe, to answer your question, absolutely, that is true. That is the main reason why we are seeing the uptick in pricing. But again, it's a BS reason. A reason why I say that. Thank you for subscribing, Dots for Live.
Subscribe to the channel.
The reason why I say that, 616, the reason why it's BS is because how long do you think that RAM was sitting on the shelf? Do you think that, Sam Altman is going in with his cronies and purchasing all the RAM up? I mean, just think about it. Like, before this whole AI issue, do you think they all went into Micro Centers or Best Buy and said, let's buy up all the desktop RAM. Let's buy up all the consumer RAM. No, that was not the case. They ended up buying it all from the enterprise side. And they're just using this as kind of a scapegoat because it's like, now they're finding a way to kind of overcharge. I can understand, like, once what's out there, they can sell for what it originally was priced at. And then once they go into the restock, then it can be completely different. But just to start upping the price because of it, because they have to up production, is complete BS. So how is Team Group RAM 32? It's actually really decent, Vic B. That's actually known to be one of the more of the more of the esports competitor type of RAM if you are looking into it. So they're actually pretty decent for the most part. So my 9070 XT XFX, another great manufacturer. Quicksilver is excellent. Got the Power Color Red Devil, excellent GPU on Amazon for $650. You're right about the combo. The Asus TUF B650E Wi-Fi for a juicy price. I'm upgrade. Oh, you're going to see the difference. You will 100% see the difference. Hopefully, is this your first PC build? Because it's going to be exciting. Lengthy heatsink on the Power Color Hellhound, but it's going to be beautiful. I gotta say that. Backplate, however, doesn't do much. Sam, darn you. So, okay, so building my PC at the moment. Ryzen 5 9600X and Nitro Plus RX 9070 XT. GPU, what should I go? B850, X870. In terms of undervolting, what should I look for in a motherboard? So that's a great question that Hex here has asked. Now, I'm assuming that you are looking for gaming purposes. If that's the case, the B850 will certainly fit your needs. It will perform exactly what you would like. Now, when you are looking for your motherboard, what you want to look for is something that is capable to do things like, you want to make sure that it has like things like BIOS flashback. You want to make sure that it also has a reset CMOS button. Things that will help you if you're looking in things of undervolting. It depends. I don't know how extreme undervolting you're going, but I'm just assuming. Now, if you go B850, I would look a little bit above the tough line. You would go like, say, Asus Strix would be nice, or Gigabyte Aorus Elite is a great choice for you. Even the MSI Tomahawk is an excellent choice. 700 USD budget. Already have the 16 gigabytes of DDR4, aiming for 1080p. Helldivers 2, leaning towards Ryzen 5 5500 9060 XT. Good choice, but I would honestly up the, let's see, what type of GPU? The 9060, okay, a 9060 XT. That might be decent, but I honestly feel like you need a bit more RAM than 16 gigabytes. 32 is like more the minimum. I know you're gaming at 1080, but I'd highly recommend a bit more. Funny how people complained about AMD drivers. Now, that's the problem. I've been telling everybody, like, hey, AMD's on the come up. They've been doing great when it comes to their drivers, and they've been killing it. They honestly have been doing great. They've been cooking, I gotta tell you. Whoa, Chris Mizo is a genius thumbnail for live is current. Oh, thank you. First ever PC. Very excited to go from laptop to PC. Great advice and first time tuning in, and you definitely thank you. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. Make sure to join in on our wonderful streamathon that will come up on Saturday. We hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you everybody who made it possible. Thank you everybody on Twitch for being longtime members. Of course, I just recently started on the whole Twitch thing, and hopefully you guys are certainly enjoying it. If you have any suggestions, you can always feel free. And make sure you check out the tribute video, because I definitely appreciate every one of you guys, even if you guys just came in. So GPUs is more for gaming, but what is the CPU used for more often? Yes, CPU is more for your multitasking. If you're going to be using like Word documents or spreadsheets or rendering, so to say, like if you're encoding, then your CPU will come in effect. But you won't, more than likely from what it sounds like, you're not going to be doing more of that stuff. It's more for multitasking. That's what your CPU is there for. But that's pretty much it. Your GPU is going to be mostly there for when it comes to any type of graphical usage. Or also I can say about the CPU usage, it's also going to be useful for things like such as like Adobe type of work. So do you think DDR4 RAM is outdated or just... no, it still works. I'm actually, right now guys, not to say DDR4 is out of date. It certainly still works. In fact, thank you V for subscribing. I can certainly say, everybody out there, just to let you know, the PC that I am streaming on is on DDR4. It's still a awesome PC. But again, it's considered a high-end desktop because it's on a Threadripper build. But it doesn't change the fact that DDR4 is not, it's still relevant. It still works fine. It's more or so when it comes to what you have to worry more is about the compatibility when it comes to your motherboard, when it comes to newer technology, such as newer graphics cards, if it has compatibility for it, or if it's compatibility for newer SSDs, that's when you worry a bit more. The DDR side, not as much, not when it comes to the memory side. Because DDR4, you still can use quite a bit of memory if you choose to. So is my PC good for sim racing, 9600X? Yeah, I mean, it's good to start off with. I don't see why not, especially if you're gaming in HD. Loading shaders as CPU is also important, as I noticed. That is true. At times it will do that. So everybody, I want to wish everybody out there a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you guys all for coming into this wonderful stream. I definitely look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday because, again, it's going to be a streamathon at 7 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully I see you guys there. It's going to start from 7 a.m. Eastern. Yes, it's pretty damn early in the morning. So I will be starting then, and we can definitely talk a lot more about it. But Hex here, Steven Anderson, Joey, Kieran, to all my supporters out there, Vanessa, Steven, Vic, Shiva, I appreciate all of you for coming in. I appreciate everybody, Frozen, Orestio, Deagle, I appreciate all you guys for coming in as well. But thanks so much for joining in. Snecker, Silent Fusion, shout out to all of you. Thank you for everybody out there who made it possible. Please subscribe, join in the free Discord. Think about joining the roundtable, which is join the membership. I promise you, it's not nowhere as expensive as Xbox Game Pass. So thank you guys. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I would love to hear everybody's stories coming up on the streamathon because it's going to be, I'll be on there for a very long time. So I'm excited. Been a console gamer all my life. I'm excited for all of you. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the channel. Thank you, and see you guys Saturday.